Hello everyone. I have for sale a component for a DIY do-it-yourself axis for a CNC machine, a router. The parts are exactly cut. Actually, it was removed from a machine system. The inside of the moving table could be about 10 inches of travel by 7.5 inches. This is a little bit over 10 inches. It's a little bit over 11 and a quarter inches. But I tried to reduce the size of the nut in your lead screw, perhaps 1 inch. So it's about 10 and a quarter to 10.5 inches, and over the Y, and 7.5 inches over the X. This is a solid aluminum. They pre-drilled some holes already, so you're able, not all, you have to finish the job whatever you want. There's some holes to let you tie the four parts together. The aluminum is extrusion aluminum, profile 3 inches in width, 2 pieces of 14 and an eighth by 3 inches by 1 inch, 1 inch and a half, and over the thickness. What I said, they have a pre-drilled holes, and I try to include the most possible, so I will include 4 hex screws, 5/16 by 1 inch and a half. If you notice, you're able to stick in here, and you have already, you can actually tie part of the, part of the frame with the 4 screws. I will include as well a stepped motor. It's a step-seen stepped motor, NEMA 23, type 103771-18, 24 volts and 0.18 of amps, 180 degrees per step, 200 steps per revolution. Doesn't show the torque. It's a small motor. Could be great for the start, perhaps. There is 4 parts. The more advantage could be in this arrangement, because if you do a different way like this, you will sacrifice an axis size in the trouble. So the small pieces inside is better in this way. So the overall length will be about 4 inches and an eighth, as long as these ones here. And once again, it's very solid anodized aluminum. There was removed from a very clean machine, but they have some scratches, some little tiny marks. That's because they've been stuck all together. That's the reason. I try to include the most possible in the medium flat rate box USPS, not the square one. I want to use the large one with 3 inches thick and about 17 inches width, which is can include all together. I want to give you about the lead screw. I want to give you an idea. The way I used in the past, I just purchased the thread rod in those hardware store, whatever you want, from 1/4 inch to 3/8, and the 2 nuts with the spring in the center. You see the spring. This is absolute no play. If you notice a little bit rough the screw, you can use a steel wool. If you have a lathe, could be faster. If you don't have a lathe, you can use a power drill to just smooth, the crests of the threading. And then this is nice because you can increase or decrease the tension with the spring. And when you're happy and satisfied with the tension, you can use, this is just as I use those parts just to show you an idea. A square aluminum plates with holes, threaded holes in one of the two square pieces, make exact same size of the screw you use in the center. Insert in, imagine this is in the center, and with the screws tied the 4 screws. And when you're happy with the tension, you can use a compound and all around the nuts to there's a lot of new compounds for the metal. It's 2 parts compound that you can actually use to hold in place. You can make a bushing in here if you want to do more different way. Lightly hammer the nuts into the bushing until you know those, because the nuts are very are hard steel, so you can use a copper bushing, and then when you have the size, you can hammer in and then the edges of the nut we create a solid position for the nut all the way in. And I do this in the past and work pretty nice. I always says to start with the least expensive things, and if you're not happy, you can move to different lead screw. But this is very inexpensive. You don't spend more than $5 to $7 for the whole thing. The pieces of aluminum is very easy to find. The springs, you can buy the springs and the hardwares. They have a package with many different sizes, and then you can create all the tension you want. See, I twist one and until I have a lot more tension, less. Smooth out the lead screw and just put a high quality grease. And to cover, you can use just a piece of sheet metal, which is the least expensive to protect against the dust and the particles to get into the lead screw. Just an idea. And then you can use, when you make the 2 end plates with the screws, you want to create a nice tension in here. But what I said, if you think you cannot able to be happy putting compound against the nut, you can use 1/3 to 1 inch bushing with this little bit less the size of the nut, and hammer in, and then it's gonna create a grooves into the bushing, and then you can make a flat surface for your mounting plate. Or if you decide to go with a square, you can use a mounting plate and those two with the system, with the lead screw in the center. If you want more precise, you can actually make little grooves in the position that you're able to move in and out until you're happy and tied it down. It's just an idea. However, what I'm going to include is the 4 parts. Let me put them together. They're exactly cut at the same size. The 4 parts, the stepped motor, and the 4 lead screws for only $24.99 and $12.50 for shipping, medium to flat rate box. Thank you for watching. I will take some picture as well.